Hello and welcome to Gunners Daily YouTube channel, where I'm covering all the latest Arsenal news and everything that is happening around the club. As we get closer and closer to January, and that means the winter transfer window, more and more information is coming out every day about what is Arsenal's next move. Who will be leaving the club and which new additions could potentially come to the Emirates Stadium in these cold times. So today, we are going to talk about the latest news that came out, and that is that Arsenal forward Nketiah could potentially leave the club in January. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Okay, let's talk. So, several different news outlets in the last 24 hours have published the news that Arsenal's forward Nketiah is attracting a lot of interest ahead of the January transfer window, and that interest mostly comes from other Premier League clubs. And according to the Daily Mail, Sami Mokbel, Arsenal have already knocked back at least one inquiry from a top-flight side ahead of the transfer window for the 24-year-old. But according to some other sources, Arsenal could be willing to let Nketiah go this January if they could get Ivan Toney or some other high-profile striker to come in next month. Look, a lot of different journalists are reporting on this at the moment from apparently a lot of different sources and connections. So we really don't have some concrete evidence to back this all up. Some are saying that Arteta would be willing to let Eddie go if that means that we would sign some other top striker. Some are saying that Arteta wants Eddie to stay until the end of the season. So it's all up in the air, if we're being honest. But nevertheless, it's not really that crazy of a news that Eddie Nketiah could leave Arsenal. There have been links circulating around social media for quite some time now that Eddie reportedly wants to become a first-choice striker, and he's not exactly too happy with his game time, which is understandable, if true, if we're being honest. Eddie Nketiah is 24 years old. He already has a lot of experience in the league, and he's been part of this squad for, now a very long time. To be more precise, listen to this. Eddie Nketiah made his debut for Arsenal in 2017 under Arsene Wenger, when he was just 18 years old. 6 years ago, he made his debut for Arsenal in the Europa League 6 years ago. We really come a long way. So, like I said, he's been here for quite some time. Minus the 2019-20 season when he joined Leeds United on loan for the season. But other than that, this is pretty much Eddie Nketiah's fifth season with the club. I guess now would be the right time for us to look into his stats to see where we are exactly after all these years. So let's take a look. Okay, so here are Eddie Nketiah's all-time Arsenal stats since he joined the first team in all competitions. 154 appearances, 38 goals and 9 assists. So I know, when you take into consideration that he's a striker, well, these stats aren't exactly that impressive. But, big but, as we know, Eddie Nketiah used to come off the bench for most of these appearances throughout the years. So, minutes-wise, he spent 6,722 minutes on the pitch for Arsenal. And that means he has a goal or assist, on average, every 143 minutes, which is not bad at all. Look, I agree, if you are playing for Arsenal, then you really need to keep producing some big numbers and keep on delivering, week in, week out. And I guess those stats could have been a bit better, but okay. I don't know if that's just me, but it seems to me like he's getting better and better every year, gradually. I mean, when you compare his performances from this season and last season, he is getting better and better. Bear in mind, he's still only 24 years old. You know what? I think Eddie Nketiah is one of those players who would potentially have a late peak. You know, Jamie Vardy type of player. Now, I'm not saying that he'll end up putting those Vardy numbers at some point, but when you look at the progress he made throughout the years at Arsenal, yes, slowly, bit by bit, every year, at least in my eyes, he's getting better and better. There's no drastic jump or improvement in numbers if you look season by season. But if you watched him play on the pitch, like all of us did, Arsenal fans did every single year, every single week, you know what I'm talking about. He's clearly a much better player than he was 12 months ago, for example. You get my point. Alright, speaking about the potential sale, and where do I stand on that? I know some of you are not so fond of him. You have your reasons why you think he maybe isn't Arsenal material and that we should sell him instantly if a good offer comes in. But you know what? If you ask me, I love Eddie Nketiah, and I wouldn't sell him, at least not this season. Yes, he's received a fair share of criticism for some of his performances this season when Jesus was out and he was our main and only striker. But all things considered, I love Eddie. I think that his commitment, will, and motivation that he shows for the club every time he steps on the pitch is worthy of praise. He's Hale End, so he's obviously Arsenal through and through. He never complains, he's always ready and prepared to jump in. He has never made public appearances or caused problems due to his lack of playing time. He's definitely a hard worker, his work rate has always been excellent, and I'm sure that one of the reasons why Arteta is so fond of him is that work rate. Also, let's not forget, Nketiah signed a new 5-year deal with the club in 2022. So his contract runs until 2027. Although he knew that he wouldn't be a guaranteed striker and he'd have to fight for his place. But what was I saying? I know this may sound funny, but he became a beast physically. When you see that picture from 2-3 years ago and today, how much muscle he gained and how, in general, more trained and prepared he looks right now. Also, I almost forgot about this, and now's probably the right time to mention it. Do you remember when was the last time Eddie Nketiah got injured? Think for a second. I'll tell you. He missed 9 games due to ankle injury last season. And before that, you can't remember, right? Well, that's because he was never injured. Not during the game, not in training, not during his U18, U19 days. The guy was never injured. He had one major injury, and that was, major. And that was last year. And that's it. He was out for 9 days, and that's it. That's his whole injury history. Unbelievable. Do you know how impressive that is for today's footballer? Even some guys that had 0 minutes on the pitch throughout the season used to get injured in training here and there. But to have one minor injury in 6 years? Unbelievable. And I would probably guess that is also one of the reasons why Mikel Arteta loves him so much. Because he's always there, he's always available, he's always there ready and prepared, waiting for his chance. And for a modern player to have such a record is nothing short of amazing. But back to the topic, what I wanted to say is that if you go to the market right now and you want to buy a backup striker, or striker for rotation, let's say, whatever you want to call it, I guarantee you, it doesn't matter how much money you got, you simply won't be able to find a better profile than Eddie Nketiah. Always fit, never complains, he's just a true professional. That's how I see Eddie Nketiah. Also, let's not forget, he holds the record for most goals for England U21 selection, a record which was previously held by Alan Shearer. And you can call me deluded or crazy, but I think Gareth Southgate should always find room for him in the squad. Because I think that every club and national team would kill to have that type of player in their squad that offers you safety and peace of mind just by knowing that he's there on the bench if he's not already playing. But now let's take a look at this from some other perspective. Let's say these reports are real and confirmed, and Arsenal would be willing to include Eddie Nketiah in the January package for Ivan Toney, or any other striker for that matter. But let's say it's Ivan Toney, because journalists are mostly connecting us with him. So, what happens next? You lose Eddie Nketiah and you receive Ivan Toney. So, your two main options, your only two options in attack are now Gabriel Jesus and Ivan Toney. And I've already talked numerous times about Gabriel Jesus, how much I love him and how I think he's the perfect player for Mikel Arteta's system. But he's also extremely injury prone. And he already missed 11 games for us this season. And we are only in December. For context, to see how crazy that stat is, that Nketiah missed only 9 games so far in 6 years. Gabriel Jesus missed 11 games this season alone. And we are in December, mid-December. And Eddie Nketiah missed 9 games in 6 years. Ridiculous. Anyway, if Nketiah leaves and you sign Ivan Toney, your only two options are Toney and Jesus, obviously. And don't get me wrong, that's definitely an upgrade, if we're being completely honest. Toney is 27 years old. He's now in his prime, although he didn't play a single competitive game in, 7, 8, 9 months, something like that. But that's a great duo to have at your disposal. Especially when you know that Jesus and Toney are completely different profiles of a striker. And that's exactly what we need, the Ivan Toney type of striker. Someone who can create something on his own, who can bully his way into the goal. Strong, physical presence in the box that shoots first, asks questions later. Opposite of Jesus, and when we are struggling in some games and can't manage to break the opponent, he would be a perfect replacement for us. Let's just go back to Aston Villa game. We were 5 times better than Aston Villa that day. We had more shots, more concrete chances, more possession, everything. But we simply couldn't manage to put the ball in the net. And that's when you need a striker like Ivan Toney. Because a player like him can definitely make a difference in a game like that. No offense to Eddie. Eddie's been good so far this season, if you ask me. But he's simply still not on that level. That elite level. He's still not playing with that sort of confidence. I'm not saying that one day he won't reach Tony's level. Or even become better than Tony ever was and will be. Who knows? Everything's possible. But at the moment, yeah. But here's why I don't think that selling Nketiah is the right thing to do in January. Well, look. If, or better said, when Gabriel Jesus inevitably gets injured again at some point during the second part of the season, I mean, I hope he won't, but I'm just being realistic. Your only remaining striker will be Ivan Toney, who, to this point, didn't play a game in 8 months. And who knows, maybe he'll need some time to get back into it, to recoup and catch the form back again. But all of a sudden, he's your only option. I've been saying since the start of the season that if we are serious about competing for the Premier League title and Champions League, we simply need to have one more striker in our squad. That way, we won't be just one major injury away from falling apart regarding our attacking options. So, Gabi and Tony is definitely an upgrade on Gabi and Eddie. At least right now, in this moment of time. But, if we are serious about competing for everything this season, you must keep Eddie and Nketiah here for at least the end of the season. You need to have that third option on the bench, because when February comes and you have to play every 3, 4, 5 days, basically Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, blah blah blah, when the make it or break it period comes, you need to be prepared. I've been saying the same thing about us urgently needing another top quality midfielder to pair with Declan Rice, but that's a topic for some other day. So here's my verdict. What would I do if I was Mikel Arteta? Or better said, Edu Gaspar. Or Mikel Arteta. Nah. I would definitely sign another striker. Different profile of a striker compared to Gabriel Jesus to diversify my attacking options. And I would definitely keep Eddie Nketiah at the club. At least till the end of the season. And then we will see what's happening in the summer. That's what I would do. And that's all for this video. So Gunners, tell me, what are your thoughts on this news about Nketiah? Would you keep him or would you let him go? And by the way, how much money do you think Eddie Nketiah is realistically worth in today's market? Write down in the comments. We all know that we are terrible at selling players and receiving some fair fees for them. But I think Eddie must be worth around £40 million, something like that. What do you think? Drop a comment. Alright, thank you all for joining once again. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!